Hello, my name is Ryan Knight, and I'm recording this message to offer a word of thanks to District 5130 for your support to Ukraine during this critical time. I am a former Rotaract. I was a member of Lost Coast Rotaract, and after being in Lost Coast Rotaract, I served in the Peace Corps in Ukraine. And while I was there, we received a request from the teachers that I was at the small rural school where I was teaching to buy some new supplies for the school. And I knew just who to turn to. So we reached out to our friends at Lost Coast Rotaract, who raised $1,600, which was a large sum of money for this little rural school in southwest Ukraine. And we used that money to buy new desks, a projector, some art supplies, sports supplies, things that this little school really could use and really made the days of some kids. And that funding that was used to buy those desks, I think a lot about it, especially now, and how those desks today are serving children who have been displaced by the war in the East and are still being used by children from the village whose parents are putting their lives on the line in the eastern part of the country. And even some of my former students who were once using those desks that Rotaract paid for, and were getting their lessons done with that projector that Lost Coast Rotaract paid for. Those students, some of them are now fighting in the east of the country. Some of them have been forced to flee the country. And those desks are still there since 2016, and they'll continue to be used by that school probably for another 10, 15, 20 years. And there's this little village in southwest Ukraine that knows what Rotary is and knows what Rotaract is, and is incredibly grateful to the generosity of the people of Northern California. So thank you so much for your support back then in 2016, and thank you for your support now. I wanted to give you just a moment to hear the voice of a Ukrainian who is very grateful for your contribution to support the Ukrainian people. When I was, after my Peace Corps time, I ended up returning to Ukraine, and I studied Ukrainian in Lviv for a year. And while I was there, I joined the local Rotaract club. And Julia is the current president of Rotaract in Lviv, and just wanted to share a few impressions from her life today in Lviv. Julia, so good to talk with you. Thanks for taking the time to address District 5130. Julia, could you tell me a little bit, how are you doing, and what is life like in Lviv lately?
I'm fine, but those few days were quite controversial because first, just a few days ago, we had Ukraine winning Eurovision, so everyone was glad and cheerful. And then it was my birthday, so I was in kind of uplifting mood. And yesterday was the harshest attack on Lviv from the outbreak of the war, from the very beginning of the war. So yeah, a lot of people were stressful, and we all went to bomb shelters because the situation was really serious. As I said, it was the harshest attack on Lviv. So we could hear strikes, like 9 or 10 even of them.
Wow.
Well, when it comes to situation in Lviv, I want to say that it's really vibrant and versatile because we have a lot of tourists or foreigners who are living in Ukraine, I don't know, seriously, who are wearing like patriotic clothes, who are wearing like clothes of support. You can hear that they are speaking English, but they are sometimes like screaming Slava Ukraini or something like this. And it's really pleasant. We also have a lot of foreign journalists because we have like also a media center here in Lviv. So we have journalists from all around the world. We have a lot of volunteers, both Ukrainians and foreigners, who are coming here to help physically. yeah, so the atmosphere is really majestic. I would say that regular life of people is now mixed with war, with martial law. So regular life, work activity is accompanied by bombing, by sirens, by anxiety. So volunteering is now, I would say, part of life of nearly every Ukrainian in business, because everyone is contributing in some way. So yeah, people are extremely united. They accumulate effort. I think I have never, ever in my life, I have felt so much unity and hatred in the air. And I've never thought that martial law and war feels like this.
What could you say, Julia, a few words about what is Rotary and Rotaract doing in Lviv today?
Yeah, sure. Well, needless to say that when the war started, all the activity of Rotary and Rotaract paused, and the ordinary life and projects were stopped. But after a month of shock, I would say, the clubs started to recover and to somehow contribute to the situation in the country. So many clubs and organizations turned into volunteering headquarters, managing help from our friends, our Rotarians and Rotaractors all around the world, and then allocating it and providing it to those in need. So from Lviv, sending it to other hotspots. So yeah, I would say a lot of clubs turned into volunteering headquarters, and even two of our members of Rotaract Lviv are managing volunteering headquarters, where they are receiving help from Rotarians and Rotaractors from other countries. And also, specifically about our club, we also organized cyclical event, which is screening of Ukrainian movies. It's charitable screening, so we use charitable contributions to buy hemostatic drugs for our Ukrainian armed forces. So yeah, it's already fourth movie. Great. From the beginning.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. Oh, please go ahead.
And sometimes we also volunteer together, because, as I said, two of our members are managing headquarters. So sometimes we meet and volunteer together.
Great. Well, that's really helpful to get a better sense about what Rotary and Rotaract are doing in Lviv. Just one final question. I wanted to ask you, yeah. What does it mean to you that District 5130, all the way off in California, is making a sizable donation to support Ukraine during this time?
You know, it's very important to feel that we are not alone, and that almost all the world is with us in supporting Ukraine, and specifically your district. And we are grateful that people sacrifice their time, their energy, their money in order to be humane and help us. And it's very important to realize that people preserve humans in themselves and are willing to help. So thank you so much on behalf of all Ukrainians for all of your work and sacrifice, and for all you do.
Great, thank you so much. One final question. If there was one thing that you think Americans could do right now to support Ukraine, what would it be?
To help Mariupol and Azovstal. It's really important, and the situation there is drastical.
Great. Thank you so much, Julia.
Thank you, too, for conversation.
All right, so that was a voice from Ukraine. Thank you so much again, District 5130, for your support to the Ukrainian people during this critical time. Thank you for the important work that you do to make our communities better along the North Coast. And thank you so much for your commitment to service above self.